Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the AGL Super Strike Tien, and we're going to see just how good he is in DBZ Dokkan battle after his recent Extreme Z Awakening. So he is well aimed strike Tien, and he's available from the Super Strike. I'll leave a link to it in the top right hand corner. But he is an AGL type lead of a key +3 HP attack and defense of 77%. He raises defense for 1 turn, causes supreme damage to the enemy, and lowers attack on his super attack. And in his passive skill, he has key +2 attack and defense of 70%, with an additional attack and defense of 50% and chance of performing a critical hit per Earthbred Fighters category ally attacking in the same turn. He has an additional attack of 50% when facing only one enemy, plus an additional defense of 50% when facing 2 or more enemies. He has a medium chance of stunning all enemies, plus an additional attack, defense, and chance of performing a critical hit of 30% when the target is stunned. So pretty straightforward stuff. He's Z Fighters Don Ray, Soul vs Soul, Golden Z Fighters Supreme Power, Super Strike, and Sharing the Limit as his links. And he's on Worthy Rivals, Earthlings, Bond of Friendship, and Earthbred Fighters. Not a lot of categories. Me personally, I think this guy is going to be great on an SBR team for the most part. I don't really see him doing much other content. So in terms of build, I would probably say that Additionals is his best build. The main reason being is because of the fact that he has a lot of bonuses on stunning enemies. He also lowers attack, he also raises his defense, and he has quite a large amount of potential crit already built into his passive. I think going majority additional, enabling you to get at least 2 attacks, is going to be pretty helpful, because not only will it lower the enemy's attack, but it will also just set you up pretty nicely. So we've got 127,000 defense. We do have Rabbit stunned. We did get the medium chance at stunning, which is very, very good. It's also going to be incredibly helpful in ESBR, SBR, so that's really good. And yeah, basically, to cut a long story short, this is going to be pretty good attack stat from him. 3.5 million or so, with roughly a 50% chance to crit. Pretty solid stuff. Obviously, I guess for most people it could be a little bit better, but I think for a unit that's obviously specialized in working off of the stunning mechanic, he looks pretty good. I think the biggest issue for him actually is that it seems like they've taken him from nowhere. He's not on Saiyan Saga, he's not on Cell Saga, he's not on any saga in general, he's not even on DB Saga. So I think that's limited him the most, and the reason being is Tien's already massively limited as a character, much like Krillin, who's an Earthling. These characters are not on the widest array of categories, and the thing is if you look at a Krillin that's not like a full power Krillin or a movie Heroes Krillin or anything like that, very similarly, Krillin is mainly on about 3 categories. Now the thing is Krillin has the natural kind of affinities of being Turtle School, which helps him out, and just generally having a couple more like categories than Tien naturally. Tien as a unit needs saga based categories to really help him out, because otherwise he can get very, very limited as a unit. But we're seeing good stuff from him. 2.6 millions, 3.5 millions, very solid stuff. And his defense after super, although maybe not huge, is pretty good. It's going to be relatively decent, above 150k. And we also have that high chance of getting the additional super attack because we went full additional, and when the unit is stunned we have that very, very good chance to crit the unit, which I think is very helpful overall. His link set's also not necessarily the strongest. Z Fighters is an okay link for the most part. Don Ray, Soul vs Soul, Golden Z Fighter, Supreme Power, Super Strike, and Sharing the Limit are all decent links. They're not terrible links by any stretch of the imagination, but they're not inspiring me with huge confidence. They're not making me feel like he's very accessible, especially considering he doesn't have a lot of other Tiens. Tien doesn't have a lot of forms. You don't get Tien Hidden Potential or Tien, Power Awakening or anything like that. I mean, look how long it's taken us to get a second version of Piccolo, and Piccolo actually has 3 distinct forms in the show, fused with Nail, fused with Kami, and obviously as well the now Power Awakening. So it is interesting, I think, to look at Tien, and because Tien's not from DB Saga, he doesn't have the standard DB Saga links either. So Tien does struggle a little bit. Crane School units also are the only units that have Don Ray, and just in general he is a little bit limited. I think his best linking partner is 4 links, and for a unit that has the full 7 link requirement, that's very rare to see. Most times units, no matter how obscure they are, have at least one very good linking unit. Tien's just not that way inclined. Now, that's not to say he's bad by any stretch of the imagination. He's got decent coverage of at least 3 base links, which do help him out. But yeah, generally speaking, I would say he is probably one of the worst linking units out there, just because of the fact that he doesn't have a very high level of versatility in his links, and because he doesn't have a high level of categories. So he's on, obviously, in terms of links, Z Fighters, Don Ray, Soul vs Soul, Golden Z Fighter, Supreme Power, Super Strike, and Sharing the Limit. Z Fighters is a great link. It's not super common, but it is a great link. You can link them up with Krillins and with some Yamchas that have Z Fighters, which is helpful, but nothing crazy. Don Ray, you're only really going to get from the Tien and Chaozu unit, and they're not currently in a usable state. Soul vs Soul is somewhat common amongst Trunks units, so you can pick that up with some Super Trunkses and Android Cell Saga units, which makes it even weirder that he's not on Android Cell Saga. He then has Golden Z Fighter, which, although a great key link, is absolutely a mess. There is no key link like this whatsoever. It's very much like just all over the place. Golden Z Fighters is at least with some Majin Buu Saga, base form Gokus, a couple of Hercules, a couple of Yamchas, but yeah, also a link that's not super common. So you're really basically left with Sharing the Limit, which at least is an incredibly common free-to-play key link. And then you're also left, unfortunately, with Supreme Power, which is super common amongst Majin Buu Saga characters, and at least has some prevalence amongst Earthling characters because of that. And then you have Super Strike, which is obviously, relative to Super Strike units. He does at least share 4 links with the Strength Trunks Super Strike unit, and he also shares 3 links with the AGL Paikuhan unit, and although they're not on a lot of categories, they are at least on things like Worthy Rivals for him and Paikuhan, and they are at least on Earthbred Fighters for him and Trunks. There is something to work with, although it's not really the most exciting thing to work with. The teams that he can exist on are very limited, and his partners are even more limited. So although Tien's a good unit, I think he's more just a floating rolling stun / debuffer for SBR and ESBR teams that you can fit him on, and I think that's really where it stands with him. I don't think there's much more to make him useful, and I think that's kind of the limit of where I'd say his power spike is in terms of like content. I think his stun is super useful for that ESBR, SBR content, but I think trying to squeeze him on any other teams, or even just teams in general, is not really worth accommodating right now. That's going to be it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like, and see you guys next time. Till then, bye.